I'm Jill Culton, a screenwriter, film director for animation. In animation, one thing, this was early days at Pixar, there was a phrase that was going around Pixar, and it was trust the process. And this quote was kind of championed by a man named Joe Ranft, the late great Joe Ranft, and he was a mentor to so many people who are now directors, heads of story teams. He was a lovely man, and animated films are so hard. They take so long, and they're so meticulous, and so many times you think they're gonna fail, or how can we keep going, or the story isn't working, or the technology isn't working. And Joe would always say, trust the process. And I can only imagine that it's like Michelangelo with the big block of marble trying to see David on the inside, you know, day at a time, chipping away. And this is literally what it's like to make an animated film. You have to trust every day, trust in the process that you're gonna come out with a masterpiece in the end. It's terrifying. Gosh, when I started at CalArts, I graduated in 1992, and there were, out of my starting class, there were 90 people and 4 women. And for me to hear now that 71% of the students at CalArts are women is just amazing, because usually CalArts is the template for, if you cut to 10 years from now, usually what's happening at CalArts is what ends up happening in the industry in animation. So my hope is that in 10 years from now, 71% of the directors will be female, but right now, as you said, this is not the case. And I think we as women filmmakers have to do our part to train, hire, and trust. And it really is that process of nurturing our own. And the film industry is a very hard industry in general. It's hard in animation, it's hard in live action, and you have to have a thick skin, I think, to get through the politics. And oftentimes I think women are looked at as not having the thick skin, but actually I think they have a tenacity and a patience for it beyond what people believe. And it's why, even though there are not as many women directors, there's a lot of women producers. But I think we have yet to see what great creative things can come out of women filmmakers, and I, for one, really hope these opportunities keep coming up. We need women in this industry. We need a balance of films. We need a balance of storytelling. It's the only way it's going to happen, you know. This is going to sound like weird advice, but I never saw myself as a woman in the industry. I was lucky enough to have fantastic male friends, and the different studios. It started with CalArts, but the whole goal was just to be as talented as you possibly can. I think really just working on your skill, working on your talent level in any area, whether it's in story or animation, become an expert at your craft, and I wouldn't focus too much on the fact you're male, female, just be the best you can possibly be. Be the most talented person and never give up on that. Chinzia and I have known each other for maybe like 12 years, I want to say. And I met her when she was an animator, very talented animator on Open Season. And then our friendship got even deeper when she became a storyboard artist on a film that I was working on at DreamWorks, where she was on that movie for at least a couple of years. But this is when I heard about Mila, and we just started talking about films, you know, got to know each other as filmmakers. I'll talk about a few things. One thing, I think the story is beautiful, and I think it's a rich texture, a rich time period, a hard time period, but it was a time period that really made the human spirit have to raise up and be strong. And I think that that's what this show is all about. But for me, maybe as a geeky filmmaker, the most interesting thing about this movie is the process for which it's done, and really Cinzia having the guts to just keep going with this. I mean, many people don't know this about Cinzia, but she gets up at the crack of dawn, starts answering emails from people around the world who are working on this film, goes to work, does an entire day worth of professional work that's enough to kill anybody, goes home, takes care of her family, tucks her kids into bed, and then starts working on Mila. This is her day, you know? This takes an incredible amount of tenacity and patience to gather people from around the world to make something like this happen. This is kind of an event that has never happened in history, and for all we know, Mila might be the new way of doing films. I've never seen anything like this where one individual can get, and she's an amazing individual, and this is why she can do this, and this is why people gravitate towards her, is with this great vision she has. She is just, you know, people are just coming out of the woodwork to work on this film. It's amazing, and because of that, it has to work. It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait till it's finished. That's the exciting thing. So exciting.